The entire gym froze the moment her foot touched the mat, because no one expected the maid's daughter to accept the challenge, especially not when the black belt was smirking like it was all a joke. Before the story truly begins, let me say this: if you believe talent can come from anywhere and quiet strength can shake the loudest rooms, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this change how you see the world. Now watch closely, because what happened next stunned everyone who thought they already knew what strength looked like. The gym was loud that evening, full of confident voices, thudding pads, and mirrors reflecting trophies and belts earned over years. At the center stood Ryan Cole, the gym's pride, a decorated black belt, social media famous, admired, and feared in equal measure. He had a way of laughing that made people feel small, not because it was loud, but because it assumed superiority. When he noticed the girl sweeping near the lockers with her mother, his laughter cut through the room. He asked, half joking, half mocking, whether the cleaner's kid wanted to spar. The room erupted in chuckles. To him, it was entertainment. To everyone else, it was awkward silence disguised as humor. The girl's name was Lena. She was 16, thin, quiet, and always barefoot because she didn't want to dirty the floors her mother worked so hard to keep spotless. Her mother, Maria, had cleaned that gym for 8 years, arriving before sunrise and leaving long after the last punch landed. Lena waited every evening with her homework on the bench, listening, watching, learning without anyone noticing. She had memorized footwork patterns while pretending to read. She had learned timing from the sound of breath. She had learned discipline from her mother's tired hands. When Ryan repeated the joke, louder this time, the coach hesitated. The gym culture thrived on toughness, but something about the girl's eyes stopped him from laughing. Lena looked at her mother, who shook her head gently, not in fear, but in concern. Still, Lena stepped forward. She didn't smile. She didn't bow dramatically. She simply asked if the mat was open. The room went quiet. Ryan raised his eyebrows, amused, and tied his belt tighter. He promised to go easy. He promised not to hurt her. He promised to show. Lena nodded once. The bell rang. What happened in the next second didn't look flashy or violent. It looked precise. Ryan stepped forward casually, testing, and Lena moved, not backward, but at an angle that stole his balance. Her first strike wasn't loud. It wasn't brutal. It was perfect. A clean, controlled strike that stopped inches from his chest, close enough for him to feel the air leave his lungs. The gym gasped. Someone dropped a phone. Ryan stumbled, shocked, not by pain, but by the realization that this wasn't luck. He laughed it off, trying to regain control, but the rhythm was gone. Lena moved like she belonged there, like she had been waiting years for permission. She didn't attack recklessly. She countered, redirected, and exposed gaps no one had ever dared to touch. Within moments, Ryan found himself pinned, not injured, not humiliated by force, but undone by skill. The coach ended the spar. No one clapped. No one spoke. Lena bowed respectfully and stepped back beside her mother, who was crying quietly, not from fear, but from pride she had never allowed herself to imagine. Ryan sat on the mat, staring at the floor, his world suddenly smaller. In the days that followed, rumors spread. Some said the spar was staged. Others said Ryan let her win. But the coach knew better. He invited Lena to train officially, offering a scholarship she didn't ask for. Maria tried to refuse at first, afraid of owing something she couldn't repay. The coach simply said talent shouldn't be punished for being invisible. Training wasn't easy. Lena faced whispers, skepticism, and the pressure of suddenly being seen. She struggled with confidence, with balancing school, training, and helping her mother. There were nights she wanted to quit, convinced that one moment on the mat didn't mean she belonged. But every time doubt crept in, she remembered the sound of that first strike, not the impact, but the silence that followed. The sound of being undeniable. Ryan, humbled, began showing up early, training harder, quieter. One evening, he apologized, not publicly, not dramatically, but sincerely. He told Lena he had laughed because he was afraid of being ordinary. She didn't forgive him instantly, but she respected the honesty. Over time, respect turned into growth, for both of them. Years later, Lena stood at the same gym, now coaching kids who came from backgrounds like hers. Maria sat in the front row, no longer cleaning floors, but watching dreams take shape. The trophies on the wall mattered less than the lives changed on the mat. And the lesson stayed simple and powerful. Never confuse silence with weakness, never mistake humility for lack of strength, and never laugh at someone whose story you haven't lived. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you see potential where you once saw nothing, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and remember, greatness often enters the room quietly, waiting for one chance to be heard.